Hello everyone, today I wanted to go over flow. If you've ever been to the channel, if you've been to the channel here for a little while, you know that I really care about how flow works in your level and that I like to emphasize it a bit. I have a whole video talking about what it is, and I even said it a lot in some of my older videos. So if you haven't seen those, I recommend checking them out, but what flow is when you have a set area, when you have your map, and when the character can get between multiple areas and not have obstacles in the way, or if they do, they're set specifically in order to make them be able to get through there in a certain amount of time. So flow is what's making your level, like a river, flow through properly. So we're going to go over two different variants. I have two areas built here, one with good flow, one with bad flow. And don't get me wrong, if you're looking at this and this looks anywhere near your level, that just means you need to do some adjustments. It doesn't mean that the level itself is bad. It just means that some placements are off. So what I've done is I've taken two areas and they have about 90, 95, 99% of the same exact models placed in there, just shuffled around in location. And then the walls are 90 to 99% the exact same. The only difference over here is that this area is not accessible and this two walls are here. That's all. Okay, so we're going to go over the good flow first to give you an example of what it looks like when you have an area that works really nice. Everything works together real well. And then we'll come back to this after we go back to the bad flow. So we step in here. Everything looks real nice. You've got multiple paths that allow you to go everywhere. You've got this little hangout area in your living room. It's very inviting. You can go through it and you just feel like you can get around everything pretty nice. You come over here. Here's your little laundry room. Right here is your first bedroom. And you'll notice that there's only one entrance, which is fine in a lot of cases. But in this case, I wanted to make the flow even better by coming over here, and I made a little secret area, which I forgot to put a hole in real quick. I made a little secret pass-through. And what it does is it goes over here into the next room. When I come over here, there's another little cupboard here, and this will open up into the kitchen. But what this has done is it's created an extra path that doesn't just block you off over here, but allows you to escape, and it also gives you the ability to allow players to unlock an extra path, which will really further their enjoyment of the game, maybe even allow a little bit of replayability, but it really allows for a bit of progression as well. So if I have to get over here and then a character's busting in right there, and I've been into this room 2 or 3 times, and then now I've got this new path I could take, that allows for a bit of progression. So now I can use this the next time I have an issue going on. So yeah, and then in here, you've got the little dining room kitchen area. So I've got a path right here that allows me to walk on through. It feels nice. It feels like someone could be sitting here cooking and someone could walk behind them and keep going. So yeah, and then you've got your little dining room set where everyone could gather, eat, and enjoy their food. You got the little cupboard. And then, yeah, it all flows real well. The doors all are right here and right there. 2 entrances, 2 exits, and nothing is really blocking the way. I could line up a line of cabinets to right here, and it still wouldn't cause any issues. Then I come out here, and it's into that hallway. And from here, I've got multiple choices. I could go to the right and head into the bedroom, or I could go left and head into the front room. Nothing's locked off to me. Even if I wanted to add locked doors, everything would flow well. So every single time I open up a new room, more paths open. So if I can get into the master bedroom, I can likely unlock the bathroom and so on and so forth. Now that I'm in the master bedroom, you'll notice one thing right away. There's a little area over here for the gathering, for the bed and everything all together. It's nice. Then I can come over here and it flows directly over into the bathroom. Nothing's in my way. Nothing hinders me. I come in here, here's our little toilet, our little bathtub over here. It's nice and off to the side. It all just works really well. So that is the big example of good flow. We got a little closet right here, which doesn't go anywhere, but there's plenty of space to be able to add in a little secret path if we wanted to. So yeah, that's the example of a good map with decent, nice flow going through it. That still looks good. Now here's our example of a map that doesn't look bad necessarily, but doesn't flow well. So first thing that happens when you step in here is you'll notice that it's the same exact setup, but it's slightly different. These chairs are all connected together. There's only two entrances and two exits, which in a normal case isn't bad, but now I feel like this entire middle area is cut off. It doesn't look bad at all, but it kind of cuts off the player's like engagement to the area. So if I come through here, I can't, in a normal case, you can't just step up right there. But if I come over here, I can't walk over here. So now I have to walk around, which if you're going for that is fine. But if you're just placing the stuff to look nice, you might place things in ways where it looks really nice, but it doesn't flow well for a video game. Because it's all about your mechanics and the player having fun, not just looking cool. So when you're in a level design, you got to keep track of these things. We got the same little setup over here for that. I could probably extend it out forward one more, and that would make things a little bit more awkward and tight here. And you'll notice that there's no exits. It's all just one room, which again isn't bad, but it feels a lot more claustrophobic. And if you have a game where somebody is being chased, here's where you need to add in like your mechanics for hiding or something. But if you don't have those in the game, you've just created a dead spot where the player can't go anywhere. Easy ways to fix that would be to make it to where there's a door over here to let them in, and then right here is a bathroom that the player can go through and come out the other side, and it doesn't make it right next to the other bathroom. So yeah, on the opposite side of that is the kitchen over here. So when you come in here, if you go around here, the kitchen feels a lot less inviting. I don't feel too much, like I still feel like someone could walk behind me, but if your collisions are off a little, they would collide together here. So yeah, everything doesn't feel as close. It doesn't feel as well put together. Then you look over here and the tables, like right here isn't necessarily too bad, but the table being right here, it's directly in between the two doors. So when I step through and I look left, I now have to go forward a bit more to be able to get past them. I can't just run on through and go straight. I'll hit the tables and it'll stop me. Going again against the flow, and if I had it even slightly more to the left, it would block even more. And if I put it over to the right, it would fit better, but it wouldn't look as good because now it's just sitting there in a random corner. At least like this, it's a usable location, and I've actually seen houses do that. So it's usable, it looks somewhat realistic. Some people actually design like that and place their things around like that. But in this case, it doesn't work well for your game's flow because it gets in the way of your pathing. So after I go through there and I go into the bedroom, you'll see another thing. The bed is now over here and it is doing the same thing that the table is doing. The bed is now in the way of me going directly over through. And if I want to be able to get anything over here, I have to go all the way around the bed to be able to get to it. So when I come through here, I now have to go all the way over here to get to whatever's over here. And if I come through here and I need to go to the right and get something from back here, I now have to go here, go back out, and then go over here. So now everything doesn't necessarily flow as well together. Now, if you want moments like that all fit together, that's different. That's using mechanical pauses and stuff instead of just how the level is flowing. I know that this is a lot of repeats on saying flow, but it's very important information that I do notice a lot of indies struggle with and they don't pay much attention to. So when we go back, now when we go into the bathroom, go right here. I've seen rooms where they have this little storage area next to the bathtub. If I even get rid of this little wall right here, it's still not great either way. So even if I get rid of that wall there, it's still not great because now I've got this bathtub that's in the way. So you'll notice that a lot of the cases right here, I've just moved something that's blocking the path a little bit. But I've seen moments where people have done full things where they'll take something like a cabinet right here and they'll just blatantly have it like right next to the door. And in first glance, that may not look bad. And I've seen that in real life, but when you come to the game and you're trying to go that way, it kind of starts causing some issues. And then I've seen it to where people put cabinets sideways, like right here. and it's like it just doesn't look right. So it's just a bunch of things to avoid doing to help things like combine together. So if the player tries to run through the area, it just feels better. So if I try and run through this area right here, you'll notice I have to go through a lot of hurdles to get to locations I want to go to. So now I have to go over here if I want something from here. I have to want to come back. Then if I want to get through the kitchen, I have to come over here. I have to go around the table. And then in here, I have to go around the bed, come over here, grab something from the wardrobe, go back out, avoid the wall right there. If I'm not paying attention, I'll run right through. I know the path right there, and I'll hit the door, and I'll hit the little wall right here. Luckily, I've got it set to where I can't collide there, and I actually have it far back enough to where it just matches right with the tub. I've seen games where it's just a little bit far forward, and that will snag your player right here. So yeah, and then you've got to put the toilet somewhere. So if you've got a little gap right there, this is for plumbing, by the way, this little spot right here. But if your player comes over here, there's just a lone little toilet right here. You can have your stuff right there for the toilet paper and all that, the little cleaning supplies. It all fits all right. But it all looks strange. It all works and looks well, but it just doesn't flow as good. So there's always improvements to be made. And then, of course, like I said, the little table right here in the hallway. Yeah, I've seen this in so many games. And a long time ago, back when I was newer to this, I had actually done that as well. So, like, coming through here, it looks nice if you've got something on top of it, maybe a decorative flower or something, but it doesn't belong there. All it does is make the player have to go around every single time they go there. And it's just a bit of a hassle. So yeah, once again, from here, we go back over to the flowing and the better flow area. We'll see that once we go through, it just feels nicer. Like the areas are, like I said, using mostly the same exact everything. I mean, there's one less chair here, but it's the pathing that matters, not just the chair not being there. Because I could adjust this to where the chair is here pretty simply, but I don't need to. And this flows so well. And it fits that spot without creating negative space. That's another thing, is not having as much negative space. So right here, I don't need that table there. I can just put things on the wall and it feels just as full. That alone has opened up this area and still keeps it looking nice. Then I come into here and like I said, it flows much better. That path being open, I can put some cabinets here that don't stretch forward like the table does, and it would still flow really well. And then again, that little secret passage that you can unlock later will work really well for your area, and it creates a second exit and entrance to this room that you can either have at the beginning or unlock later on. All of it goes in tandem to making your game just run better and give the player a much better experience with your game. Like I said, I know I probably repeated myself a little bit, but these are extremely important things to go into when you're placing models, because I've had a few people that are just like, well, why don't you just place it how it would look in real life? Well, things in real life don't flow really well, and sometimes you have more stuff than you need, so now you've got tables that are in the way and all that. And if you're trying to make a house that resembles that, that's cool. But if you're trying to make a experience for a game, then you want to try and avoid that clutter that changes how the character moves around the level. Because you can have a house that's extremely dirty in a project and it's overflown with items. But if the player is able to navigate that without any issues and they don't have to constantly go around things, that'll make them enjoy it far more, unless you're trying to go for that like labyrinth feel. Because if you're trying to make it feel like a labyrinth to like frustrate the player on purpose, then that works really well as long as you're doing it on purpose and correctly. If you're not, then it's going to either become very apparent real fast, or it's just going to cause issues. So yeah, I hope you all learned something from this video. I know I haven't covered flow in a little while, and I really just wanted to tackle it because it's one of my favorite subjects. So yeah, I hope you all learned something. If you enjoyed the video, please hit a like. Please consider subscribing if you would. I try to make these every other day, and I try to make them extremely informative. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I hope you all have a good night.